So I just got through swapping idler pulleys on my 2200 Ferris, and see how noisy that is? You don't want that. It should be silent. So I'm changing the idler pulleys here. This is the back one. You want to take one hand and put underneath this bolt. It's a carriage bolt, so if you take the nut off, it's going to fall on the ground. So this just kind of keeps it in place. Just stick your finger underneath. It's a 9/16 nut, and you want to keep track of the order that it goes. This is like a little rain guard to keep the water from getting inside of the bearing. And right here is just a little spacer to get it the right height. So you got your two washers that sit on top. When you replace it, this is what the bottom of it looks like. It has like a little section that pokes out, and this side is inset. You want the side that pokes out on the bottom, and this is what it looks like on the top. Then you want to put your two washers and spacers, then your rain guard. If you don't put those two washers and you tighten it down, this is going to catch this, and then the pulley won't want to spin. So that's why they do that. It's a 9/16. Go ahead and tighten that up. So that's the easy one. This one's a little bit more difficult because it's got a lot more shims and washers and pieces. The way to do that is you want to start by pulling this off right here. You want to put a wrench under there because that's a bolt-in nut. Alright. So you want to pay attention to this spring here. This is a little something that goes in the middle. I don't know what it's called, but it's basically so the spring doesn't wear out the threads on your bolt. So that just goes through there like so. So just keep that in mind, and the nut goes on the bottom. And to put the belt on, you got to pull this spring loose anyway. This is a 2-belt system. The small belt goes on this side, and you have to take the spring off in order to get the belt on there. This goes all the way over here. And it also goes on the bottom. This is a double pulley. It goes on the bottom. So as you can see with the spring off, it fits just fine. So you want to just pull that and put your bolt back. But as far as this goes, I'll show you how that's made real quick. So in order to change this one, I'm going to go ahead and pull this arm off. What you want to do is pull this spring off right here, leave this one intact. It's a 3/4 inch. You're going to need to put a 3/4 underneath as well. So keep in mind, it has a washer and it's got a little bulge right here, or an indent. That's how it sits, like that. Same thing on the bottom. Little indent, faces up. Another spacer washer. So you can leave that one there and leave that one there. Just keep in mind all these parts, because it's a lot of shims and stuff going on. The reason you have to take this whole assembly off to get this pulley off is because even though you can get access to both sides of this, you can't pull the bolt out because it hits the deck. And I'm not going to take it apart because there's a lot of pieces and it's kind of frustrating, so just keep in mind the order on everything, the way it goes together. So it looks like you have your 9/16 nut. There's a 1/4 inch spacer, the rain cover, and I believe there's 2 washers in between that to space it to keep this rolling freely. Nothing on this side but the bolt. So that's what it looks like in case you have to change this. I'm gonna go ahead and put it back together and then we'll throw the belt on. Alright, to put the spring back on, you just have this little thing here. Put in there, that's your thread protector, I think you would call it. And you want to stretch. Let's see if I can get it started. Yeah, I could probably get it started. And I'll go ahead and get some cutters and cut my tire up off. Alright, now we're going to try to tighten it up. Alright, so that's in place. Tensioner's on. Now we got to put the belt on that side. Alright, so we got the small belt. We have it on the bottom pulley. That's pretty self-explanatory. It just goes around in the tensioner. The spring pulls back on it. No big deal. This one, however, if you don't have an owner's manual, this is the way the belt goes on. It basically goes around this pulley, the spindle way over here, the tensioner, and then the back crank. So the crank, the tensioner, the spindle, and the other spindle right here. I got my belt in here. I'm going to start on this outside spindle here, the front spindle, and then I'm going to take this part. There's a little bar that secure it, helps keep it secure against this tensioner, like so. And the rest goes back to the crank. So the tensioner, if you notice there's a square, 1/2 inch square right here, you can put your wrench on that and turn it. I'll do that next. So as you can see, if you pull it this way, it takes all the pressure out. See right here, when you turn it, there's a bolt. I have a mulch kit on here, so the bolt is right there, it's catching. So you want to make sure, if you have that, you want it to bottom out all the way against here. That way you got the most amount of room. Now if you're by yourself, I recommend you tie this against this, which I'll probably do just for the sake of the video. Alright, so that's holding that in place. You can do it with a rope if you don't have this particular kind of strap or whatever. So I'm going to go in the back and place it on the crankshaft pulley. Alright, here's your crankshaft pulley, and there's your bar to keep your belt from flopping around, so you want to go over that. And make sure you got a clear path and it's not rubbing against anything. Alright, so we're going to test it out. I'm going to go ahead and put my foot panel back in place just in case something comes flying up at me.